Imagine a man who blends seamlessly into society, a devoted family man, a successful bakery owner beloved by his community, an avid hunter setting local records with his bow and rifle. Now imagine that same man transforming into a monster under the cover of Alaska's vast, unforgiving wilderness. He didn't just kill his victims, he hunted them like animals, turning human lives into twisted trophies. This is the story of Robert Hansen, the Butcher Baker, one of America's most chilling serial killers. Over a decade, from the early 1970s to 1983, Hansen confessed to murdering at least 17 women, though authorities suspect the number could be higher. He raped and assaulted over 30 more. In this deep dive, we'll uncover his troubled origins, his deadly modus operandi, the heartbreaking stories of his victims, and the investigation that finally brought him down, including the groundbreaking FBI profiling that nailed his description. We'll also hear from survivors who escaped his clutches, visualize his crimes through maps of terror, and speculate on what a predator like Hansen might look like in today's world. Buckle up. This tale of survival, depravity, and justice is as cold as the Alaskan tundra. If you're sensitive to graphic content, viewer discretion is advised. Robert Christian Hansen was born on February 15, 1939, in the small town of Esterville, Iowa, to Danish immigrant parents, Christian and Edna Hansen. He was the elder of 2 children, growing up in a strict household where his father, a baker, ruled with an iron fist. Young Robert worked long hours in the family bakery, learning the trade that would later define his public persona. But behind the flour-dusted counters, life was far from sweet. Hansen was painfully shy, plagued by a severe stutter that made him a target for relentless bullying at school. His face was scarred by acne, adding to his isolation and low self-esteem. He described his childhood as one of constant rejection, especially from girls who mocked his appearance and speech impediment. To escape, Hansen turned to hunting and archery, honing skills that would one day become tools of terror. His relationship with his domineering father was strained. Christian Hansen pushed him hard, fostering a deep-seated resentment. In 1957, at age 18, Hansen enlisted in the U.S. Army Reserve, serving for a year before being discharged. He briefly worked as an assistant drill instructor at a police academy in Pocahontas, Iowa, where he met and married his first wife in 1960. But Hansen's demons were already surfacing. That same year, on December 7, 1960, he committed his first known crime, arson. In a fit of revenge against the community that had tormented him, he burned down a school bus garage in Pocahontas. He was caught, convicted, and sentenced to 3 years in Anamosa State Penitentiary, serving 20 months. During his incarceration, his wife divorced him, deepening his bitterness toward women. Prison psychiatrists diagnosed him with manic depression, what we now call bipolar disorder, along with schizophrenic episodes and an infantile personality obsessed with getting even. Released, he drifted through petty thefts, including shoplifting, which landed him more jail time. In 1963, Hansen remarried a woman he'd met post-release. Seeking a fresh start, the couple moved to Anchorage, Alaska in 1967, with their 2 young children in tow. Alaska's booming oil industry, fueled by the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, promised opportunity. Hansen opened his own bakery, becoming a pillar of the community, friendly, unassuming, and known for his delicious donuts. But beneath this facade, his criminal urges were escalating. Anchorage, in the 1970s, was a wild frontier town. The pipeline construction brought an influx of workers, along with sex workers, dancers, and transients, many vulnerable young women far from home. Hansen fit right in as a family man and hunter, even setting records for trophy kills like Dall sheep. but his dark side emerged early. In December 1971, just 4 years after arriving, he was arrested twice, once for abducting and attempting to rape a housewife at gunpoint, and again for raping a sex worker. He pleaded no contest to assault with a deadly weapon, serving only 6 months on work release. The rape charge was dropped in a plea deal. By 1972, Hansen's crimes had turned deadly. He began targeting marginalized women, topless dancers, barmaids, and prostitutes, whom he believed society wouldn't miss. His bakery provided the perfect cover. He was a mild-mannered 5'6" man with a stutter, not someone who'd raise alarms. In 1976, he was caught stealing a chainsaw, pleading guilty to larceny and serving more time, but psychiatric treatment for his bipolar disorder was never enforced. Lithium was prescribed, but Hansen ignored it. Free again, he refined his deadly routine. Hansen's modus operandi was uniquely sadistic, blending his hunting expertise with cold calculation. He'd cruise Anchorage's seedy underbelly, approaching women at bars or on the streets, often posing as a client offering money for sex. Once in his car, he'd pull a gun, handcuff them, and drive to his home or directly to Merrill Field Airport, where he kept his private plane, a Piper Super Cub. He'd fly them to remote spots along the Knik River Valley or other wilderness areas, places only accessible by air. There, the horror unfolded. Hansen would rape and torture his victims, sometimes chaining them by the neck in his basement first. For those he deemed non-compliant, he'd strip them naked, release them into the woods, and hunt them down like big game. Armed with a .223 caliber Ruger Mini 14 rifle or a hunting knife, he'd stalk them through the brush, deriving thrill from the chase. He once said, "It was like going after a trophy doll sheep or a grizzly bear." Some women were stabbed or shot execution style. Others died from exposure after fleeing. He collected souvenirs, jewelry, IDs, as trophies, and marked burial sites on an aviation map with X's. Chillingly, if a victim played along and promised silence, he'd sometimes fly them back and release them, believing, "You can't rape a prostitute." This pattern spanned over a decade, from 1972 to 1983. Hansen exploited Alaska's isolation. Bodies decomposed quickly in the wild, and many victims' disappearances went unreported due to their transient lifestyles. He confessed to raping over 30 women who survived, but for at least 17, the hunt ended in death. Hansen's victims were real people, daughters, sisters, friends, often young women drawn to Alaska's opportunities but trapped in vulnerability. He confessed to 17 murders, with 12 bodies recovered. Authorities found remains at 21 sites marked on his map. Here's a closer look at some. Celia Beth Van Zanten, 18, abducted. December 22, 1971, while hitchhiking. Found in Chugach State Park, bound and assaulted. She died of exposure. Hansen denied it, but his map had an X there. Megan Siobhan Emmerich, 17, vanished July 7, 1973, from Seward. Hansen admitted her presence on his map, but denied killing. Her body was likely dumped in Resurrection Bay. Mary Kathleen Thill, 22, disappeared July 5, 1975, also from Seward. Hansen confessed, body believed in Resurrection Bay. Eklutna Annie, unidentified until possibly linked to others, stabbed in 1979 while fleeing, found July 21, 1980, near Eklutna. Hansen called her his first kill, a topless dancer. Efforts to identify her continue. Joanna Messina, 24, killed May 19, 1980. A topless dancer, she was struck, shot with a .22 revolver, and dumped in a gravel pit near Seward. Hansen even shot her dog to cover tracks. Roxane Eastland, 24, vanished June 28, 1980. Hansen admitted, body never found. Sherry Morrow, 23, missing November 17, 1981. A dancer, shot 3 times with the Ruger, found September 12, 1982, near Nick River. Andrea Fish Altieri, 24, last seen December 2, 1981. Abducted, abused, shot, body not recovered, but her necklace was found in Hansen's home. Sue Luna, 23, taken May 26, 1982. Hunted naked, shot, buried near Knik, found April 24, 1984. Paula Goulding, 30, abducted April 25, 1983. Shot while fleeing, found September 2, 1983, near Nick. Robin Pelkey, 19, Horseshoe Harriet, vanished July 1983, remains found April 25, 1984. Identified in 2021 via DNA and forensic genealogy. Others include Lisa Futrell, 41, Malai Larson, 28, Tamara Peterson, 20, Angela Federn, 24, Delynn Frey, 22, and Teresa Watson, 22, all found in shallow graves or remote spots between 1984 and 1985. These women ranged from 16 to 41, many Black, Indigenous, or from low-income backgrounds, their disappearances dismissed as runaways. Their families endured decades of agony, some only finding closure through recent DNA tech. While Hansen's kills are infamous, his over 30 rape survivors show the cracks in his control. Women who fought back, escaped, or were released after complying, providing key clues. Their stories highlight courage amid terror. In 1971, before his murders escalated, Hansen assaulted 2 women who survived and reported him. One was an 18-year-old housewife he tried to abduct from her garage at gunpoint. She screamed, alerting neighbors, and he fled. Days later, he raped a sex worker who identified him to police. These early reports led to his brief incarceration, but were dismissed as isolated. Throughout the 1970s, some victims survived by playing along. Hansen would fly them back if they promised silence, underestimating their will to report. One anonymous survivor described being chained in his basement, assaulted, then released after feigning compliance. Her account matched others but wasn't connected until later. Another, a dancer, escaped during a wilderness hunt by hiding in underbrush until Hansen gave up. She hitchhiked back, traumatized, but alive. The most pivotal survivor was 17-year-old Cindy Paulson, whose 1983 escape cracked the case wide open. A sex worker, she accepted a $200 ride from Hansen, who handcuffed her, drove her to his home, chained her by the neck to a post, and raped her repeatedly over hours. He tortured her with threats, even napping beside her while she plotted escape. When he took her to his plane at Merrill Field for the final hunt, Cindy seized her moment. While Hansen loaded gear, she bolted through the car window, still handcuffed and barefoot, waving down a passing truck driver on a busy street. She made it to a motel where police found her. Initially skeptical, Hansen was respectable, they noted her detailed recall, his plane's tail number, his stutter, even leaving her blue sneakers in his car as evidence. Cindy's bravery, enduring cross-examination and facing Hansen in court, was heroic. She later said, "I wasn't going to die that day." Her story inspired the film The Frozen Ground, and she's spoken out to empower other survivors. These accounts remind us, victims aren't statistics. They're fighters who exposed Hansen's facade. By 1980, bodies were turning up. Eklutna Annie, Joanna Messina, Sherry Morrow, with similar wounds and shell casings. Alaska State troopers, led by Sergeant Glenn Floth, suspected a serial killer but needed help. They enlisted FBI profiler John Douglas, pioneer of the behavioral science unit and inspiration for Mindhunter. Douglas, who interviewed killers like Bundy and Gacy, analyzed the scenes: remote dump sites, aviation access, hunting-style kills, targeted sex workers. His 1983 profile was eerily accurate. A white male in his 40s, experienced hunter with low self-esteem and a history of rejection by women. He'd have a stutter, own a plane, keep souvenirs, and a record of petty crimes like arson or theft. He'd appear normal, married, employed, but harbor rage toward bad girls like prostitutes. Douglas predicted he'd release some victims if they complied, explaining survivors and use a small caliber rifle for control. This wasn't guesswork. Douglas drew from prison interviews, noting Hansen's sport hunting mirrored his animal trophies. The profile pointed straight to Hansen, already on radar for 1971 assaults. Cindy's escape in June 1983 validated it. Her description matched perfectly. As more bodies surfaced, like Paula Goulding, pressure mounted. On October 27, 1983, troopers raided Hansen's home, bakery, and plane, finding jewelry, the Ruger, ballistics matched, clippings, and his map with 37 X's. Alibis crumbled. Hansen confessed over 12 hours. Douglas's methods revolutionized cases, proving psychology could predict killers. Hansen struck a plea deal on February 18, 1984. Guilty to 4 murders: Eklutna Annie, Messina, Morrow, Goulding, plus Cindy's abduction and rape, for no further charges and federal prison. He detailed killings, leading to 17 sites, sentenced to 461 years, plus life without parole on February 27th. He showed little remorse, blaming victims. Hansen died August 21st, 2014 at 75. His case exposed biases against marginalized victims. It inspired The Frozen Ground and influenced Silence of the Lambs. DNA identifies more, like Pelkey. But what if Hansen lived today? In our tech era, he'd likely lure via apps like Tinder or Craigslist, using GPS for precise drops. Drones could scout hunts, or dark web forums share trophies. Profiling AI might catch him faster, but online anonymity could prolong his spree. Survivors like Cindy could use phones for SOS, but isolation persists in remote areas. It's a chilling reminder. Predators evolve, but so does justice. Hansen's bakery closed, but his scars endure. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share thoughts. Evil hides in plain sight. Stay vigilant, Mysteriophiles.